purpose of forecasting is to be able to help people in business to improve the accuracy of their predictions and reduce or deal as well as possible the uncertainty.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending where in the world you're based. It's a pleasure to have you on the call. The goal for this webinar is to answer all questions that anybody may have about the course. And I think another huge benefit is it's a great insight to the level of direct communication that you'll have with the instructors throughout the duration of the course. So the Applied Forecasting course is a 6-week course. Week 1 begins on Tuesday, the 2nd of May, and Pasquale has added some pre-course material to get everybody up to the level of required understanding of the R software package so that they can follow the course properly. I think another one of the huge benefits of the course is the live weekly interaction with the instructors, which takes place every Wednesday at 4 p.m. London time for the first 4 weeks, and then Thursday 4 p.m. London time for weeks 5 and 6. These sessions are recorded and can be watched and downloaded again via the learning platform. Probably the major benefit of the course is its emphasis on hands-on learning by encouraging participants, these are both individuals and businesses, to bring and use their own data to predict and estimate the uncertainty of their forecast, to work with the instructors to come up with the best forecasting methods. If you're not, of course, if anybody's not able to bring their own data due to privacy reasons, we can, of course, provide the data for you. What I would like to do is I'd like to give a quick introduction to the instructors. And by the way, there is no script for this call, so please, we're waiting for your interaction. We're waiting for your queries, and until the questions start coming, you can ask the questions by the Q&A button on the bottom. Until the questions come in, I'd like to give you a quick introduction to the instructors, and let them give you a quick talk about what they're going to be teaching in the course, and how one might benefit. Okay, so Professor Maglidakis, can you give us a very quick introduction to the course and what people can expect to learn from it?
Well, I mean, you said it. The idea of the course is to help people improve the accuracy of their predictions and understand better the uncertainty of the predictions. And that's what we're going to talk about it. And as you said, it's going to be a hands-on course that we're not going to talk about theory, but we're going to talk about how you can apply theory and how you can improve the accuracy of your predictions and how you can estimate uncertainty more accurately. And the idea is not to talk about what we're going to do, but get people to ask questions and try to answer them in a way that we can persuade them that it's going to be worthwhile to follow the course. Okay.
Thank you for that. Pasquale, Cirilo, would you like to give us a quick, you know, a quick introduction to, you know, what you're going to be teaching, please?
Yes, so I will be the last instructor. So you will meet me so you will meet actually at the very beginning. So if you are not familiar with R, you will find pre-recorded material in order to give you a very basic introduction to the R language, which is the language that will essentially escort us through the course from week 1 to week 6. So we call this week 0, in which there is no actually live interaction, but you can find all the materials. And then we will meet again at the end of the course in week 5 and week 6, in which we will discuss quite important topics like the impact of uncertainty for what concerns the estimates, how we can play with that type of uncertainty. We will focus on tails. So when we want to model a phenomenon, it is very important to understand what type of tails that phenomenon can generate. So we will make the distinction between the heavy tails, fat tails, sub-exponential tails, long tails. I will bother you a lot with these kind of things because they are fundamental to understand what you can and what you cannot do. We will see which models taken from the set of models that you will have covered by that time in the course you can use in the different situations. And we will treat very interesting applications in the field of energy markets, finance, consumer marketing, and many other situations. And again, as Nick said before, and I can speak also for Professor Makridakis and also for Dr. Spiliotis, our job is to help you get the most out of the course. So if you have specific problems that you want to discuss, you can do that through the course forum, which is an excellent way to interact with us and the other participants. And during live classes, obviously, when we have last weekly meetings, our job is obviously to cover the topics, but we're also there to answer your questions about any curiosity that you might have in the field of forecasting. And don't ask us things about philosophy, because this is not the place. But for what concerns any curiosity that you might have for forecasting and practical applications also related to your own job experience or academic experience, we are very happy to help. And again, if you have questions, as Nick said, please take the chance of asking the questions in the Q&A so that we can try already to answer some of the doubts you might have.
Thank you, Pasquale. Vangeli, would you like to give us a quick introduction to what you're going to be teaching and what people can expect to get out of your teachings?
Sure, Nick. Together we'll have some courses for the first 4 weeks. We will start with an introduction in time series analysis and how you measure accuracy, how you can estimate the uncertainty and produce point and probabilistic forecasts. We'll mainly teach things about what we call traditional, or let's say statistical forecasting methods, so exponential smoothing, A.M.A, the theta method, and the other standard tools we use for time series forecasting. And then we will have a deep dive in machine learning approaches. We'll see how we can use popular algorithms like neural networks or decision trees to produce forecasts. And I will also provide some insights of the modern techniques used in the field of machine learning for time series forecasting. We won't have the time to get in much detail in every single aspect of it, as you can understand, but we will cover lots of things, and we will have a lecture dedicated in a complete case study. We will see how we can use the tools discussed in the first 4 weeks of the course in order to produce forecast in a real life application from start to finish. So how you handle the data, how you deal with missing values, how you deal with extreme values, how you analyze the time series, what is the best benchmarking you can do, and how you can improve over the benchmarks. Okay, so this is what we will cover. And again, please use the Q&A to ask us more, particular questions, things you might have in mind. Don't be shy to ask.
Okay, don't, as Pasquale says, don't be shy. We need, we need some questions. We need to hear, your queries on the course, and so we can provide an insight on exactly how you can benefit from it.
That could be about anything. The exercises we'll be doing. Okay, the duration of the course, the how long the
Yeah,
the deadlines.
there is a first question. There is a first question is how long is each session? So I guess you are referring to the live sessions when we have the weekly meetings. It's 2 hours. So it's depending on your time zone, obviously. So it will be from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Central European time. And then obviously that will adapt to your time zone. One important thing is that every live class is recorded. So this is important because if for whatever reason you cannot attend because you are busy or for whatever reason, then you can always find the recording as soon as the class is over. And a very important thing is that all the recordings, all the reading materials, all the codes, because you will also find the R codes, are available to you through the platform, not only during the course, but even after. As usual, I tend to say forever, but forever does not exist. But let's say for a long time, so you can access all the materials in the future, because you will see that Piros, Vangelis, and I will share a lot of materials that are even optional, because obviously there are many things that you can do, and it's not possible to cover everything in 6 weeks, but you really have a plethora of references, extra readings, so it can be very convenient later to come back if you are interested in a specific subtopic that it becomes important to you for your job, for your research.
I think, Vangelis, you should answer the second question.
Yes.
About
from Mitchell. It's a question about the libraries that we'll be using. There's a reference in the Darts library for Python. As Pasquale said, we will be using the R language, so we'll be using libraries that are implemented also in R. Some of the libraries might also be available in Python if you're more familiar with Python. For instance, we'll be using some libraries for implementing decision trees like GBM. This is the same library both for R and Python. The Darts library you're referring to includes both statistical methods and standard machine learning methods. So we will cover both of these types of approaches, just not by using the Darts library. We'll be using the forecast library, the smooth library, and several libraries that involve implementation of machine learning approaches. Just one thing, in case that this is a question. Although we'll be teaching and providing some examples using R, you're completely free to use for the assignments any language you like. Okay, so it's perfectly okay for you to use Python and any library you like to finish your assignments.
There's a question about homework. Yes, there will be homework, and there will be a final project in the end that is going to be necessary to get your certificate for that you have followed the course.
Yes, actually, there are two assignments. They're bi-weekly. So you have the first assignment in the second week and the fourth week. The first is mostly about getting familiar with R and doing some time series analysis. The second is about using the methods we'll be talking about, and the final project clearly depends on your interest and the application you'll be willing to work on.
Yes, and as Vangelis was saying before, we have chosen to use R because obviously you have to choose one reference language that you use through the course, but you are free to use other languages. And we are happy to help with those, unless you choose some very critical language that you have written yourself. In that case, okay, it's a little bit more difficult. But for the other things, we are happy. And for the assignments, for the projects, you can use the language. So because there is this question by Paul that I have already answered in the Q&A in written form. But if you have some constraint, for example, about the use of Python, yeah, you can definitely use Python. And for example, when we will speak about, in the last 2 weeks, when we will speak about Tails, I will use some libraries from R, Aviar, EVD, and these kind of things. But I will also provide links to Python libraries in which you find the same type of stuff if you want to play with Python, definitely.
You know, the idea for us is to pass our knowledge and experience in forecasting to you, and that will be our major task, how we can help you improve your forecasting experience and practice in your company in practical ways, and what are the major aspects that we have identified in terms of the forecasting theory and how this can be applied to business. And please ask questions.
I'd like to ask the instructors, what kind of commitment, time-wise, would students be expected to follow to be able to follow the course properly, including the assignments?
Vangelis, since you are going to be doing a lot of the
Yes,
assignments.
I would say that it depends on how much you want to invest in this course, and how familiar you are already with coding and with the concept discussed. This is because, of course, there are the live sessions and the assignments that you will, of course, have to attend and to complete. But we also provide lots of further reading material, lots of papers, lots of reports that anyone can read. So I would say that 4 hours maybe apart from the live session would be something that on average could work for you to complete, provided of course that you are already familiar with coding. If not, that might be longer, and it will also depend on like I said, on how much you like to read, the additional material provided, which personally I find it very helpful for getting involved in the forecasting field, and what is currently done for producing forecasts. There's a question about prerequisites. So I would say that it's of course mandatory to know some things about statistics. So some things about distributions. Okay, so you have to understand those things, because of course we will explain some of them, but we'll move forward rather fast after that point. It will be helpful if you knew how to code. It will help with the assignments. Like I said, it doesn't matter the language. If you even if you are a newbie, the presentations are full with examples that you can use. And like Pasquale said, there is also week 0 that has lots of tutorials with R. But yes, it will be helpful if you understood some key concepts in these two directions.
There is another question: what industries depend more on forecasting? All industries depend on forecasting. There is no industry, and this you can see lately now with what is happening with the banking crisis. And imagine what would be the implication.
I would say, so I will turn a little bit the question, and I would ask which industry does not rely on forecasting at the moment. So every time you have customers, whatever type of customers, you have to rely on forecasting. If you are in the retail business, you have, for example, to forecast the demand of your consumers. If you are in the energy markets, you have to not only forecast the demand, but you also have to forecast the prices that will appear in the future on the market. If you are in the banking sector, you will have to, or in the financial sector, you will have to try to forecast the behavior of the markets. And we know that these kind of things are not always very easy, as we see every day on the stock markets. If you have, for example, if you are a government, you need forecasting, for example, for planning of the policies. I mean, it's really where is not, I don't know, maybe if you write novels, you don't need forecasting. If you don't care about selling your novels too much, it's just for you, then okay, you don't need it. But I would say that nowadays it's really fundamental, and that's why also all major players invest. If you think about Amazon, if you think about Google, if you think about Apple, if you think about whatever, they invest a lot of money and resources on forecasting. Obviously, every time in the specific field of interest, but think about of reality as Amazon and the necessity it has in terms of managing the inventories, managing the peaks of demand, trying to predict the behavior of the consumers, gathering information in order to do that. So it's really a fundamental field nowadays.
Well, the M5 competition, we got data from Walmart to see how well they can forecast. And Walmart does a few billion forecasts every week, so that when customers go to the supermarket, they can find what they want. And then in addition to forecasting, it's also the question, which we're going to emphasize a lot, of uncertainty, because no forecast could be accurate, and we have to specify what would be the level of uncertainty. And what Pasquale is going to do a lot, what do you do with this information and how you can prepare to face the uncertainty, which can be good or it can be bad.
Yeah, I think the point that Pasquale made to the question, what industry depends more on forecasting, what industry doesn't depend on forecasting? I mean, it's been around since, for thousands of years, but the age of crystal balls didn't end because we ran out of crystal balls. It's because it's be turned into a science, and this course will, some of the well-respected practitioners are going to be working with you to find the best forecasting methods.
There is another
Yeah, I
question
see.
about-
I see that there is another questions about it's new if I see the time. So it's we answered before, but you have to expect a couple of hours for the live classes. Okay, that is the live class, and then about 4 hours for what concerns the compulsory materials, the reading of the compulsory materials, the assignments, these kind of things. Obviously, we do not take into consideration the optional materials that by definition are optional. So these are up to you. And as I said before, the optional materials are a very nice resource you can rely upon even after the end of the course, because maybe during the course, you don't have the time to go into all the details of the optional materials. But later you get interested in something and there you find a lot of extra information then to become even more an expert in the specific topic.
Well, it seems there are no more questions.
Yeah, any final questions? Any, don't hold back. Anything about the course, please fire away. Okay. Well, thank you for joining us on this course. If there's going to be no more queries, once the webinar has ended, if you have a brainstorm, oh, I forgot to ask, just reach out, just get in touch. You've got my details. We have spoken in the past, and I'll find the right instructor to forward your queries to and get you a direct and quick answer.
Okay, good evening or good day or good night.
Bye, everyone.
And thank you
Bye
for...
bye everyone, and
Bye.
thank you for attending. And again, if you have questions, just reach out.
Yeah, thanks for your
Bye.
time.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.